Okie dokie. On the way to the gym. It's early morning, but not as early as typically go on these days. It's a shorter lift because I'm just on the deload week, and so it's less sets, less reps, less volume. Pretty darn easy to go through. It's the third day of doing it. Today's is leg focus, but I'm doing during these sessions is really focusing on my technique and my form, and really going slow on the eccentric. I know I've talked about that a few times already, and but it's been good working on that, and it's given me some ideas on starting next week. Also, what I've done a little bit is I'm doing some different exercises next week. I'm starting for my next mesocycle that I did not do on this one, and making sure I get the machines and figure out the machines and the feel of it, and so I want to continue with those exercises, and that's been going well too. And making sure that, like, I'm gonna do a chest machine press, making sure that has a nice deep stretch and a couple other things too, which is good. So today for legs, the same exercises, but now I'm gonna really go slow on the eccentric and go below parallel, slight pause and push up, and we'll see how it goes. I anticipate to still get some maybe a little pump on there. It's for how slow I'm going to be going, but it's not going to be much. But it's nice for the body to heal up. Part of it today too, I was still going to go to the gym earlier, but I don't know, I woke up like super tired, and not typically normal, and so I'm not sure if something changed, or maybe something did change, because yesterday I got my medication and my testosterone, and so I got that. It came in the mail, so I had the testosterone shots and also some other stuff there too, some estrogen blocker or some other stuff there to make sure I don't have certain side effects. Also, they gave me a liver cleanse because there's some stuff with that. But anyway, let's talk about the testosterone. Maybe that's what caused me to be a little extra tired this morning, because I took it later on in the day, in the night. I did a cardio session last night, light one, and so I was kind of like, sent me a video on how to self-administer it with the shot and all that, and had to there's two different needles, one needle to draw out the test, and another needle to inject, and you do it right in the buttocks, as Forrest Gump would say, right in the buttocks. And so I had to draw it out, clean it with the alcohol wipe, and clean the area on my tush. And I was kind of like, oh man, like, I've had shots before and all that stuff, and not that I ever really like shots, but don't really ever bother me getting them. But I was like, okay, well, how's it going to be having to self-administer a shot to myself? So I got it all ready to go, and boop, put it in. Didn't really feel anything. But when you put it in, you have to pull it out just a little bit, make sure that there's no blood coming out, because this is an injection not into a vein or anything like that, but directly into the muscle, and put it in, and that was fine. And so now that is once a week, so it's not like a daily thing, it's once a week. And then some other stuff I do, pills I take other days of the week to counteract potential certain side effects. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited about it, and to see the improvement. I've said every guy I know I've talked to that's gone on it says it's just a game changer for them, life changer in so many different ways. Yeah, probably have some side effects, but the positives, the net positives, is where it's at. So I'm excited, and I'll keep you posted this journey. Maybe as I'm on it long enough, I'll do a video all on that, and the things I've noticed, the differences, so on and so forth. But let's talk about I've talked a lot about, and I'm sure I'll bring it up more, is not doing things because of like people in your industry have poo-poo the idea or whatnot, and I say, well, it's should you be listening to them? If they're a person that's doing a lot of business, yeah, you should give them more listening to, for sure. But if there are other people and their businesses are not at levels where you don't want, and is not where you want yours, I wouldn't give them as much time as you listen to them. But there's also another thing when it comes to sales and marketing. Another person that you shouldn't always listen to, and that is ourselves. And what I mean by that is, I'll talk to salespeople, and when I say sales, a lot of times sales guys are doing sales and marketing for their businesses, and like, well, I'm not going to do that because I wouldn't like that, or I'm not going to do that and I wouldn't do it that way because I wouldn't respond to that. And that's a problem. And why is that a problem? It's because we're not the client. You're not the client. You're not the lead. And we don't do things based on personal preference when it comes to marketing and sales strategies. We do it on one is ethical, of course. That's always the case. But two is, how does the market respond? And how does the market respond? And that's ultimately the most important thing. Now, if the market doesn't respond to it, well, that gives you your answer. But your answer shouldn't be well, I don't like it, so I'm not going to do it. Or I would respond to this, so I am going to do it. Now, you may luck out, and how you would respond to things is how the general market would respond. But we shouldn't be looking to ourselves as the determiner of that. If we do align with the market in response, that is just icing on the top, cherry on the top, great. But that's not what we look for. What does how would the market respond? Remove ourselves from the equation. When I talk about double call, it's like, some people push back. Well, I might not. I wouldn't like that. Like, who cares? The vast majority of people don't even say anything when you do the double call on them. They answer it, and if they say anything, it's really easy to overcome. I'm talking about 99% of the time or more, it's zero problem at all. And so if we don't do something because we personally wouldn't like it, and it gets in the way of our effectiveness, our businesses won't grow. And that is a big reason why people don't see their businesses grow, is they get in their own way. They put their own preferences in the way, and their own preferences are not what the preferences of their marketplace. And so we can't be thinking about, this marketing ad I'm going to do, I really like how this looks, so I'm going to run the ad. Now that might work, but we have to look at and learn our market and how would they respond to it. And we do that by testing, because you're not going to get it right every time. No marketing agency, great marketing agency, gets the ads right the first time every single time. But what they do great at is they test and they change variable by variable by variable to find what works. And when they find what works, then they put a ton of money and resources into that, and then they see explosive growth. You don't go put all your eggs in one basket immediately. No, you spread out those eggs into different baskets, and then you see which basket's going to get you the biggest return, and then you put more resources to that. It's like science. It's like a scientific experiment. Is when you are doing a scientific experiment and you want to change something, you don't change multiple variables at once. You change one variable, because then you could see if that one variable yielded the results you're looking for. If it didn't, well, then you change another variable, and then another variable, until you find the collection of variables and circumstances that get the result that you want. And you can have a real conclusion, and not one that you are guessing. And so we want to remove ourselves from the equation, from our preferences, and we want to study our markets. We want to study and learn about them, what makes them tick, what are their worries, their concerns, their fears, and then we are able to put together our plan, our message, our sales message, our sales pitch, our marketing, in order to speak to them better. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to speak to them, speak to an individual, like you're talking to a person and what they're going through. And then you're going to be able to match your solution with their problem. And that's another thing, that diagnosis sales remedy. Don't have time to get into that today. Hopefully I remember to do it, because that is, my opinion, the best way to sell is what I call the diagnosis remedy sales method. All right, at the gym, I'm going to sign off for now. See ya.